A new ban list for Master Duel has just been announced, and whatever it is, we're going to be running a $1,000 tournament with the new ban list, and hopefully we're going to have huge leaks for that day as we're going to be leaking a ton of different archetypes. Now, what is the ban list looking like before we go into that? What is the tier list? Right now, Blue Eyes is the most dominant deck. We have Snake Eye Fiendsmith at tier 2, and then a bunch of miscellaneous decks within tier 3. The tier 3 category is incredibly volatile, where mostly decks settle at tier 1 and 2 once they are the best decks. And I was asked on stream today, what did I think the ban list would be? And I was thinking that it's no longer the time to really hit Snake Eye at the moment because Blue Eyes is the most dominant deck. And the problem with Blue Eyes being the most dominant deck is it pretty much just came out. So they can't really hit anything of Blue Eyes. They had a triangle event where they restricted Maiden to 1, Wishes to 1, and Spirit Synchro to 1. Obviously, none of those changes will actually be on a ban list like this, but let's just see what the ban list is anyway. I would think maybe after the World Championship qualifier is possibly when they'll actually decide to hit Blue Eyes. And I know a lot of people are talking about on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta site, the tier list over there, Blue Eyes is unhit in the TCG and it's not the best deck. And then in the OCG, Blue Eyes again unhit and is not even within the top 3. So people are actually hoping that Konami just doesn't hit the deck even though it's the most dominant at the moment within Master Duel. But will that actually be the case? Let's find out with this ban list starting off. Boom. Starting off on May 9th, which we're going to have a stream on May 9th for the new pack release day, in addition to the stream that's happening on May 4th, which will hopefully be fully leaking the May 9th pack. Now, let's see what is good. Cards to be unlimited. Fire King Avatar Kirin. This was an easy prediction of what would happen because it's unlimited everywhere else. This is where it would show if it was restricted in TCG and OCG, slowly got unlimited in the other formats, and now it's fully back. I was actually, while I was predicting this to happen soon, I was then double thinking that maybe they would wait longer for this to happen because they didn't unlimit the Kirin in the TCG or the OCG not until Melissa and Ryzeal were super top tier decks. And in the TCG, they have original Sinful Spoils banned, completely banned. That's why Snake Eye completely fell off over there. Now, let's see what is good. Rescue Ace Airlifter. We have this already, still semi-limited in the OCG. Nicky Boy is a top-tier player that plays Tenpai. He got top 3 global in the Duelist Cup, and I was wondering, hey, you won the tournament right after the ban list hitting Tenpai, playing Tenpai. You got first place. Why are you no longer playing Tenpai? What's the problem? Well, he said that Tenpai simply does not have a good matchup against Primate Blue Eyes, because after he won the tournament, Primate Blue Eyes came out pretty much the week after, and he has since then ditched the deck, and he was playing Rescue Ace instead today. So there you go. Nice little buff to that deck list instead. Let's see what else is good. Emergency Teleport. This is still semi-limited. I was actually hoping that this card would become unlimited for the release of Ritual Beast. I think I'm going to start picking, I got to pick up Ritual Beast back up again. Maybe work on that guide I was promising a while ago. It is played at 2 mostly in Ritual Beast. Goblin Biker is going to be happy with this. Ooh, the Cosmo play. Cosmo is not back because it was never in, but it's time to whip out the Cosmo. Super Quant, Assault Mode, Invoked Punk. We could even extend this further and see, wow. And then here are the recent decks. I'm not going to highlight anything because it may spoil the rest of the ban list, but very nice. Happy to see this. This is actually a card that was being used early into Sprites, summoning a Gamma onto the field as a level 2 so that you could special summon your Sprites. Let's see what is good. Moving on down, we have Purrely from 2 to 3. Is it okay if I'm just going to spoil myself right now? I don't know if there's going to be any other hits. I'm just going to control pace purely because I need to know what are the other hits on Purrely. What is the state of Purrely? So let's just open this up and, you know, I'll just type it in right here. Purrely. Purrely was semi-limited, then unlimited. So we got regular Purrely, now back. What's really great about Purrely being unlimited is it's not a hard once per turn. So you do want to cycle through all 3 if possible within a single turn using up your normal summon and your additional 2 special summons. Keep on going through the Purreleys. A big downside with the deck, as you can see here, is the Delicious Memory still limited to 1. And this is a main facilitator of being able to go easily into the big monster of X Purely Nor, easily through the plump, where instead you'd have to, with the E Purely Nor, go into the X Purely Nor otherwise. And also, it really helps you perform one-turn kills, which is the most fun part of the deck, because you'll make the opposing monster indestructible by battle, and then you'll use E Purely Happiness to attack 4 times into it, continually reducing, continually boosting, and continually searching the deck until you wham bam thank you ma'am them out of the duel. So I'm a huge fan of the Purrely deck, maybe not so much of the aesthetic, but, you know, that's another thing. That's fine. I'll play whatever is good and fun, no matter what it looks like. In fact, in the future, I'm not going to be ashamed to be playing the freaking Yummy Cups. I actually enjoy this deck a ton, no matter how ridiculous this crazy deck looks like. This is kind of the same energy as Purrely, actually. Let's see what else we have here. So we got some good on limits. What else? Cards to be limited. So we are skipping semi-limit from unlimited to limited. Solemn Judgment. What? From 3 to 2? Huh? Okay. I mean, it's fully unlimited in the TCG and OCG, and you would actually be less surprised to find this be restricted in the TCG and OCG. And the reason for that, let me open up the Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta. If we go on to the side deck tier list, Solemn Judgment is there. Maybe not the highest card, but when you are confident you're going to be going first for game 2 or 3, you side deck in 3 Solemn Judgments to negate anything. And what about OCG? Is it within the top 10 there? It looks like it fell out of the top 10 over there. So TCG is mostly, more likely you're going to see Solemn Judgment from the side deck here. But in Master Duel, where there's no side deck, I would think, like, I guess stun decks are using this, but is it even really that big of a deal? When you think about stun decks beating you, are you upset about Solemn Judgment? I guess the argument could be that it limits counterplay. If you want to be, oh wow, maybe your drill beam's getting negated by Solemn Judgment when you're trying to banish a floodgate, and Konami saw that in the servers and they're like, holy crap, we have to now semi-limit the judgment. Or maybe if you wanted to put in Harpy Feather Duster in your deck, but the thing is, if you weren't a turn 2 deck anyway, you didn't have those big board breakers that Solemn Judgment was negating. Maybe Solemn Judgment was negating a Little Knight summon, and they felt like that was not good because Little Knight should at least get the secondary banish possibly. But if they have a good floodgate in the background, you can't even summon a Little Knight anyway. Kashtira, I get it was playing 3 kind of, stun 100% at 3. Okay, I mean, what can I say? If stun loved the card at 3 and they were 100% playing it, then why not? I think there's a lot of collateral damage here. Dynamorphia didn't deserve this hit. Trap Tricks Dogmatica, I'm not sure how popular that was, but I mean, look at the most recent decks. The Dynamorphia getting hit here, that's kind of not cool. Now, when you see the special tournament, generally that is going to be a Maxi-less event where they're playing no Maxi, or probably also within the side deck. I don't want to highlight one of the deck lists because it may spoil the rest of the ban list here. But, stun. Okay. Oh no, what is stun gonna do? It's almost like instead of Solemn Judgment, they can now play Iron Thunders instead. More of this card. Spell Trap or Monster Effect is activated on the field. You know, it is obviously different than Solemn Judgment. Pay half your life points to negate the activation, and then also destroy cards within that same column. It has that cool secondary effect where maybe now when you're playing against stun, you're going to have to be worried more against the column placement. What generally just does not make sense here is that stun already has been falling off thanks to Drill Beam. Drill Beam has been knocking it out. Now, before Drill Beam came out, and this just came out, stun, I believe, was quite prevalent. It was dominating a lot of people. People were really upset, but I would not want to play stun if people are going to be Drill Beaming my back row and then recycling it. That is so annoying. And I mean, was there like a Blue Eyes player in the dev office where their Sage normal summon or Barrel normal summon got negated by Solemn Judgment and they just got pissed? And I just don't understand why now. If you really wanted to hit stun, how about we look at the most prevalent floodgate within here? How about limit the barrier statues, all the barriers to 1, and maybe they'd go to the other one, just keep on hitting them. Necro Valley, whatever. Gravekeepers, maybe I wouldn't want to hit that for the 2 Gravekeeper players out there. What else could they have hit here? Macrocosmos, maybe put that to 1 instead of, a Solemn Judgment hit. It's just, I don't know. This was not it if you really wanted to hit stun, but it's kind of an inconsequential hit. Okay, anyway, we have full, what? That's it? Now, I expected a nothing ban list on stream, and I even, if I'm going to try to quote myself verbatim, something along the lines of, if you're expecting Blue Eyes to get hit on the ban list that I was expecting to come out tonight, then just drop that expectation right now and take your break from the game if that's what you're really upset about. Blue Eyes. I'm recording this really late. I'm out of my freaking mind. And obviously, because Blue Eyes was not going to get hit, and it was too early to hit Snake Eye, but also too late when Snake Eye was dominating us. We could have used the hits early, but then you saved us with Blue Eyes. I don't know if you really call that saving if people are really upset about Blue Eyes dominating the meta now. But for this to be the entire ban list is crazy. Wow. Okay. That is really not much. Maybe we could have unlimited more cards even if we wanted to, right? Let's type in limited to 2. What are some other cards maybe if you wanted to be more anti-stun? Maybe give us back a 3rd Lightning Storm for fun. I don't know. Raigeki actually is starting to become really good in the OCG. It's a good anti-yummy card. Maybe do that earlier. They'll do that later. I don't know. This is usually just to fill out nothing ban list, where otherwise it would have just been Solemn Judgment to 2, have a good day, goodbye. Now, Konami downloaded the ban list randomizer mod. Solemn Judgment is really a random hit. Now, back in my day, Solemn Judgment was limited to 1 because back in my day, having a card like this at 3 was absolutely out of this world crazy to even imagine that. But today, it's not that big of a deal because setting traps is just, it's too slow. At this point, I think they're making fun of us. Judgment hit in 2025. Welcome back, Edison. I believe I actually played during Edison. That's where it was limited to 1. MD ban list team not making such a clown ban list challenge. Feel like I've been waiting for months for a decent ban list, and Konami disappoints every time. I think we are in the calm before the storm. And if you don't know what the storm is Malice and Ryzeal. You know it, I know it, Konami knows it. So I don't know if we could really expect a massively influential, game-changing ban list outside of them wanting to change the core of the game through maybe hitting something like Max C or Fualos. But beyond that, I don't really expect anything. And for the release of Melissa and Ryzeal, I don't know if they're even considering to possibly just pre-hit one of these decks. Because if we have the sole best deck Blue Eyes right now, where if we converted this to Master Duel terms, Blue Eyes is essentially at 33% of the total tournament topping deck. So it would be more influential than how well Melissa's doing here within the TCG. And if Blue Eyes is naturally going to drop from the release of Ryzeal and Melissa, then why even want hits on Blue Eyes? We could just wait for this to come out. But the big question is, in the TCG and OCG, Melissa and Ryzeal came out at the same time. And we all know that's not going to happen in Master Duel. You don't need my leaks to tell you this. Why would Konami release 2 top-tier decks within 1 pack? They like money. They would want to definitely spread them out. So the bigger question is, which one comes first? And it will definitely be knocking Blue Eyes down. So what I was looking at on stream, for general guesses of upcoming cards, I was clicking on set release and OCG for Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta, and then scrolling down to pretty much where we are in Master Duel. And where we are in Master Duel is we have completed the Infinite Forbidden set, and we have a lot of the Rage of the Abyss set. So let me show you that real quick. You are familiar with a lot of these cards, right? A lot of this we have, but we're also missing cards here, most notably the 6 Samurai cards, and also, where's Mermail? I don't see it right here. Mermail. Where's the Mermail cards? Mermail, right? Atlantean and Mermail. So those, Mermail, Atlantean. So that's what's pretty much missing from this set, where we otherwise pretty much have everything else. And then, of course, Lacrima's here. Where's the freaking Lacrima at? So, and we have to know is that with us having most of the Rage of the Abyss, this is July 26th. And then in the OCG, August 23rd, about a month after this, is when the massive meta-changing Malice and Ryzeal pack came out. This changed everything. Look at that. Hit by the ban list, limit to one, limit to one, limit to one, super top tier. For them, it came out at the same time, but it won't happen for us. And what's interesting about this is if you look at that, Blue Eyes, we already have that. Blue Eyes came out after Ryzeal and Malice, after Rage of the Abyss, yet we have all of Blue Eyes, and Blue Eyes pretty much at full freaking power. So, we're in this weird spot where we know this pack that came out before Blue Eyes is going to keep Blue Eyes in check. So we really do we even need a ban list for Blue Eyes? And then what's going to come out first? So, I don't want to keep repeating myself. I'm rambling really late or early into the morning. I got to go to sleep. Holy crap. So there you go. That is the ban list. I expected, no matter what the ban list was going to be tonight, for a lot of people to be upset in the comments, and it looks like that's exactly what happened. But I did not expect a random hit onto Judgment. We're used to random unhits, but random hits, that's kind of sus. I think a random hit, this is almost along the lines of, but maybe not exactly, is the Foolish Barrel Goods. I still remember that just randomly getting hit. It wasn't. In fact, a lot of people were criticizing me because I was thinking it was one of the better ways to play tier limit, and people were like, "Nah, DK, that's not good. That's trash." And then Konami decided to hit it anyway. So, what the heck was that? I think King of the Swamp was also a random hit. Is that still hit, by the way? King of the Swamp. Am I remembering correctly that King of the Swamp was hit? Didn't this get restricted and then unrestricted? That was a super crazy random hit. Oh my Jesus, just even thinking about that. And so I don't know. I guess Konami will probably unhit Solemn Judgment soon in the future because this kind of just makes no sense. It's not that people are upset, or really. It's just, why did this happen? Why? Well, what are you doing, Konami? Anyway, we are out. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the next week's tournament on Sunday, where we're going to have hopefully big leaks and more and all that good stuff, plus a tournament applying this amazing ban list to that event. I'm hoping to see Purrely, hoping to see Ritual Beast, more Rescue Ace, and Snake Eye Fire King without Fiendsmith within that event. I'm a big fan of Fire King. I'm hoping this is going to be whipped out. This is great. They try to negate your Snake Eye Ash on field. You're going to just chain the Kieran, dodge the disruption. I love playing like that, and also playing Kieran during the opponent's turn. Any deck that heavily plays during the opponent's turn, I'm immediately in love with that deck. I know a lot of you may think that's a toxic play style, but I just like it a lot. So anyway, we're out. Thank you very much. Let's go.